Let's fucking go.
Welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review Alien Earth episodes 3 to 6. Now, all disclosure, I was planning on just waiting till the whole show wrapped up and reviewed the entire show as a whole. What you guys probably seen is with some shows I do week to week, and some shows that I'm into I do the first opening couple episodes, and then I review and then I wait for the whole, and then after the whole thing is done, I'll review the whole thing. The entire season as a whole, all together, to just give a better context. Because reviewing shows are weird, because it's hard for me to because you don't know where things are going. And depending on how a show ends or the direction a show rears off to, it can completely change my opinion on everything else. I've seen plenty of shows where the first couple episodes were really good, and then the rest of the show was sucked. Secret Invasion is the greatest example of that I can think of in recent times, when I enjoyed the hell out of the first couple episodes of Secret Invasion. Sure, people had opinions about it, but then it got so terrible. If I had just reviewed it week to week, I don't think I'm glad I didn't. But either way, I'm going to review episodes 3 to 6. Now, one of the big things that I was very curious about with this Alien Earth, we knew Noah Hawley was going to be behind this. The guy, Noah Hawley's the mind behind the Fargo show and Legion, and Noah Hawley's kind of known. He's an auteur, and so he's going to take this shit seriously, and he can handle this kind of material. But the first 2 episodes were dynamite. The first episode was so interesting and so sci-fi, and I didn't know what they were gonna do with this show, because I didn't watch any of the trailers for it. This is one of the few shows that I didn't really watch any of the trailers for. But when you realize that they essentially, and I said this in my other review of the first 2 episodes, flip the whole Prometheus concept of that movie around, whereas Prometheus was so solely focused on the xenomorph and who created the xenomorph and where'd they come from and that kind of stuff. Alien Earth is focused on the Earth part, Weyland-Yutani, these other huge corporations, and they're diving into the lore of Earth and these corporations and what they're trying to do, and it's fascinating. And it's like I say, it's the Alien universe, but it's focusing on somewhat the real villains of the Alien franchise, which has always been humanity, and in particular Weyland-Yutani. They've always sort of been the true villains of the franchise. The xenomorph gets all the fame, and obviously the xenomorph is the monster of the franchise, but the true villain of the franchise has always been Weyland-Yutani and corporate corruption. So for this show to focus on that, to flip the script and focus on that, was very unexpected. And also, the beginning of episode 1 and episode 2, the way episode 2 ended with the ship crashing into the building in Purgatory's island, land, was interesting, because me and Seth, my friend Seth, you guys seen him plenty of times, we were both curious of how do you do a movie with the xenomorphs on Earth without it outbreaking and killing everyone? And the first episode kind of hinted to the Purgatory Island. I was like, okay, so they're going to have it happen on this island. Makes perfect sense. If the xenomorph outbreak happens, not only can they not get off the island, but you can just nuke the island, and then boom, xenomorphs handled. But then this thing in episode 2 happened with the crashing into the building, and it threw me all the way off. I thought there was a decent chance that the entire show could have took place in this building and this ship, because it was a massive building. Later on in the episodes, you find out weeks later, they still haven't managed to get the goddamn ship out of the building without crashing it. So I was there's nothing crazy. They could do this. They could have this whole show take place in this area, and it's just about keeping the xenomorph from getting out of the building and the outbreak happening. But then episode 3 immediately did out of that. Episode 3 ends with them getting with Purgatory showing up and getting all the specimens. Wendy getting hurt, but discovering, Wendy straight up kills a xenomorph, which just shows you just how badass she really is. her and her brother connecting and like them coming back to the island. Like episode 3 pretty much ends with that happening. So episode 3, cleared that up, and no, the xenomorphs and all these alien specimens are all on the Purgatory Island. So shit's gonna happen there. And after episode 3, from episode 3 on, everything is a building tension. Outside of episode 5, episodes 4 and 6 are just rising tension. Episode 4 really locks down the claustrophobia of Wendy or Mercy and her brother, and Wendy starting to evolve a bit because as it turns out, the weird clucking noises, the weird ticking noises that Wendy had been hearing in the first 2 episodes, well, at least the second episode, were her hearing the xenomorph communication. In particular, the children of the xenomorphs communication. She could hear their language. Like there's this ticking noise that the xenomorphs make. Now we heard it as like a rumbling noise, like they're just like they're growling, but apparently they're actually speaking. There's an actual language, and she can hear it, and it bothers her. Like apparently she had her hearing was just on a high frequency. They had to turn her frequency down or whatever. But yeah, so that's a weird thing going on with Wendy. And also one of the children is making contact with the cyborg who was on the Weyland-Yutani cyborg, who you learn a lot about throughout the course of the episodes. You learn that he's been in space for decades. Like he's left his entire life behind to do this mission for Weyland-Yutani and go around and collect these specimens for them. And he did it to probably give his daughter a better life, but clearly, not that long into it, maybe 12 years into it, 13 years into it, I can't remember off the top of my head, his daughter dies in a fire. So now he has to be out here on this long ass journey of getting in cryo, getting out of cryo, and the only thing he has to show for it is these creatures. So in episode 5 I'll get into later, but he is willing, and you see in episodes 2 and 1 that he's willing to do anything it takes to accomplish the mission, but you really don't. But what you find out is just how connected he really is to Weyland-Yutani. Because for a while there, I thought, okay, that Weyland-Yutani is not going to take him seriously. He's obsessed with these creatures, but Weyland-Yutani probably doesn't. No, him and the former head of the Weyland-Yutani family were very close. She adopted him or something. You find that out about him. You find out that, and he has the utmost respect by the one who runs it now. You find so much out about that character, and he's just a fascinating character in what he's doing. But then you have old Timothy Oliphant's character, and Timothy Oliphant in this plays this synth, and most synths throughout the Alien franchise have been very I'm trying to describe what they've usually been. Most synths have all been by the book. The worst synths is obviously the ones who are just by the book. This is what my priorities are, and they're doing what. But it doesn't seem like they have any emotions. It doesn't seem like they're taking any pleasure. It doesn't seem like they have an opinion. Whereas Timothy Oliphant's the synth he's playing in this is very opinionated. He's on some Magneto type shit with his opinion on synthetics. The first episode, and I think I mentioned that too. Within the first episode, he's talking to Marcy and the kids we're better than the humanity. He's talking about the bad side of humanity and this about humanity. He's just talking down to humanity. It's almost like he sees himself as a superior being, which is some Skynet shit. It's not something I've seen out of any of the synthetics, and maybe that happened in Alien 3 and Resurrection or some shit, but as far as I've seen, it's not something I've seen. Usually the synthetics have been just cold, calculating. Maybe you got a good one in Bishop, which Bishop proceeded his own protocol to help, but outside of that, I've never seen one this opinionated. I've never seen one do the things he's doing. He clocks that one of the kids have been in contact with the cyborg, when it happens, and he allows it to proceed. It's he finds human beings fascinating. It's I don't know, maybe it's because he was designed to be a scientific, I don't know. It's because he's a scientific synthetic, that he can think that way. But it's oh, it's crazy dangerous. And you feel that building with him and him just watching one of the kids communicate with the cyborg throughout the course of the show. And it's just building me. Like, you got that building. You got Marcy's brother trying to come up with a plan to escape. You got this tension between Whaley Yutani trying to figure out a way, because Whaley Yutani and Purgatory have a sit down, and they're trying to figure out a way to somehow get their shit back without giving away the fact that they brought a bunch of alien life forms to this planet. But I digress. It's all building juicively. There's just a lot happening, different characters in different places. Episode 5 was by far the best episode of the show, though. I loved episode 6. But episode 5 stole the show. Episode 5 was sort of a bottle episode, or a past episode, and it was classic alien shit. Although the real villain of the show, once again, isn't really the xenomorph. It's corporate greed, because as we find out in episode 5, the entire reason the ship crashed, the entire reason the shit went terrible, was because of the head of Purgatory, Cavalier, that's his name, fucking got in contact and got one of the people to betray them and try to crash the ship in his area. He found out about it. So once again, corporate greed got thousands of people killed, including this entire crew, just so he can get his hands on these things. Like I say, it's always been the heart of the Alien franchise, something that's never really talked about too often, but corporate corruption and the corporations are the true villains of the show. Or no, they're the true villains of the Alien universe. But I digress. We find that out. But it's a great bottle. It's a great flashback episode. It's this classic Alien stuff. Also, that eyeball creature is fucking weird. It's a weird creature, because I'm gonna just touch on this just for a little bit. In the flashback episode, in episode 5, it shows itself to try to be helpful, because it tries to warn one of the scientists that one of the creatures has gotten out, while at the same exact time, it also is trying to do its own thing, because at a certain point, it attaches itself to one of the humans, and it fights the xenomorph with the human body, and it's wild, dude. It's a very, like I said, it's a very interesting creature. It's a scary creature because it's very intelligent. But either way, everything comes to a head in episode 6, where everything's happening. Deaths are going down, betrayals are happening, moves are being made, characters are coming to a head. It's getting crazy. And I can't wait for episode 7. So far, if I had to review the entire show from here to episode 6, dude, it's a 10 out of 10. I love this show. It's everything I wanted it to be and more. I can't wait for more. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like and subscribe and comment below. What do you guys think of Alien Earth so far? You don't even got to worry about episode 3 to 6. What do you guys think of the show? Because it's better than I ever expected it to be. And I'm just having a blast with it. It's so cleverly written, which I should have known. Noah Hawley's doing this, so that should have given it away right off the bat. But still, I'm just excited, man. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show again. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.